Steve, I'm not sure if you'll get this. Um, I hope you do. But I recently watched your video on evaluating the Orlando shooting, and I have to say, as a bisexual man, as a man who has actually performed homosexual acts due to being bisexual, so someone who is part of the LGBT plus community, I feel rather insulted at what you had to say. The attacker had openly admitted that he followed an ideology that is actively against the lifestyle of the people you claim to defend. Yet, you thought it necessary to first blame guns, while at the same time shunning people for blaming Islam. Then, you take the moment to blame Western culture. Western culture isn't perfect. It does have its flaws. I will not deny that. It has small flaws, sure. But those flaws are minuscule, few, and far between in comparison to the danger that this religion holds toward people like myself. In Sharia law, I am liable to be killed for who I am, for what I've done, for simply doing what was natural because I'm a bisexual man. Yet you refuse to, in all circumstances, to acknowledge this fact. In fact, you go and blame a culture that has gay pride, that has gay nightclubs, that on the aftermath of the Orlando shooting showed countrywide, international-wide support for the victims, and solace and a helping kind hand, a memento of understanding to the surviving LGBT plus members, the people who weren't killed, or just everyone else part of that culture. You thought it necessary to blame them. I'm insulted. You ignore what can kill me, what can kill people like me, what has killed people like me. I doubt it was the only factor in his life. I'm not going to say that. And I'm not going to say that all Muslims are going to do this. No. But his ideology cannot be ignored. Especially can it not be substituted with Western culture, a culture that is objectively superior in its support for LGBT members, LGBT plus, whatever. I can say whatever. I don't care. Anyone can say whatever. I'm not in the mood. I'm sorry. I'm not in the mood right now. I'd be angry, and I am, but I'm too upset to yell shouting. You could probably barely hear me out right now when I'm stuffing up many of my words, Steve. That's how hard what you have said is hit me. I will say, I sincerely appreciate the fact that you are offering help for the victims and for other LGBT plus members. But please, if you have any dignity, you won't do this. You can have this opinion, sure, but I will retain by my right to say that this is wrong. What you're saying is just as demonstrably wrong, insulting, and just off topic. Again, the man called 911 to pledge support to a violent movement that follows the violent aspects of this religion. Also, multiple weeks before the shooting, a mosque nearby held a preacher who said death was a mercy to us. A mercy. You know what that does? That means if another person was to be indoctrinated by this mindset and he killed someone like me, he'd think he'd be doing me a service. I don't want to die for who I fuck. And I know this sounds vulgar, but I don't. I don't want to die. I don't want anyone like me to die. I'm getting upset right now over this, man. Afterwards, an entire group said they supported the punishments in the Quran, which involve punishing homosexuals. How can you deny this? How can you turn to every other group and say they're the problem? Steve, what is it in your mind that allows you to do this? You will blame guns, blame Western society, but shun those who dare consider that Islam might have something to do with it. Might even, no. People who, not even everyone who's saying, oh, it's all Islam, which I don't even think that's the case. I think it has its values, and that's where I'm standing. There's people like me, people who agree with what I'm saying. You think we're all jumping out of the woodwork. When you're jumping out of the woodwork, Steve, you blamed guns the moment you could. And it took you speaking to LGBT plus members to realize that the best thing to do is to say you support us. If you support us, please, for the love of whatever ideology, mindset, morality you have, understand that we as a community, I don't even care if it's a community or not, we as people who live our lives as we should in a free Western society, are in danger. This isn't fear-mongering. 50 people were killed because of who they fuck. That could have been anyone at any gay bar. I don't care if you agree with someone like Molly Knuckles-Fiver. I doubt you do. I am confident you think he's a hateful person, and fine. You can have that. But he's a gay man. And as a gay man, he voiced his distaste for Islam after the Orlando shooting. Twitter chose to ban him rather than the Muslims who celebrated the killer or condemned the victim. They chose to side with the people in support of the killer and someone who was on the side of the victim. Turkish media went as far as to say 50 perverts killed in a bar or a club. I can't remember that specifically. Perverts, Steve. Do you know where they got that idea from? Do you want to know? I think you know. I'm not being an asshole intentionally. I'm just really pissed off right now. I'm so sorry. Again, thanks for your help. I'm sure other people around will appreciate it. And I appreciate it. But please, consider what you've said. And how it is insulting to a society that tries its best, despite all its flaws, to be inclusive. We as a society work hard to make gay people, trans people, people of many different religions, even Muslims, feel welcome as best we can. Legally, you can't do shit about them because of their religion. That's the point. That's how we should run our thing. But their religion and their cultures, it's legal to hurt people like me for who I am. That's not fair, and you ignore that. I'm just understand that, please. I doubt you'll get this video, and I doubt you'll watch it all the way, considering me a hateful person. That's fine. I understand. Thank you.